I'm curious how you go through it, but if you want to share anything, that would be awesome. But for now, I'm going to switch to this presentation, to those beautiful slides that have better quality than me right now. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, it's going to be more like a lecture, just because on this application, when I put the screen share on, I cannot see the chat and I cannot see even myself. So I'm just going to go through this presentation. It's going to take probably about 20 minutes maybe. So I hope you're not going to get bored. We come back and it's like nobody here. Just say bye if you have to go. Yeah, let's just start and see. So screen add, and then how do I make it bigger now? Okay, and how do I make it even bigger? No, sorry, I have to stop it and then do it again because I'm a little bit share screen, application window, this. Okay, so as I said, I hope you guys seeing it, but we checked before and it was working. I'm not seeing any chat right now. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, please write it down in capital letters maybe. I will try and answer them later on. If not, then just enjoy it and share some, insights if you get any while watching this. So Balance in Tarot, and this is a part, as I said, of an hour-long class, which you can purchase on my website, but I wanted to share some of it because I thought it's important for these times. So I found these two beautiful quotes. One is, everyone and everything around you is your teacher. So I thought, even if we think of coronavirus and these times right now as our teacher, which it is, what is it teaching us, and how can we take lessons or teaching from this really, really shitty situation. And then the second quote is, however many holy words you read, however many you speak, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? And this is from Dhammapada. And also I feel balance is an active thing. It's not a static thing. We don't arrive at balance and suddenly we there and we balance now. It's a constant adjustment. I don't know, I think my favorite balance card is probably Temperance, just because it's gentle and moving, but also Strength is quite beautiful, where there's this activity involved. It's not just a static. So in the whole class, I'm going to be speaking about all these cards, but right now we're going to mention twos and the High Priestess. In the rest, if you want to purchase, I'm going to be talking about the Temperance, the Justice, the Strength, and Six of Pentacles. I call them the ultimate balance cards. I also consider and discuss later on also the Wheel of Fortune and the World, the Chariot, the Lovers, and the Devil, as they show some aspects of balance as well. And at the end of the class, I also do a collective reading for the times of pandemic. It sounds so kind of dramatic. I like using it. And I use Spolia Tarot there in the reading, in the class, and I discuss every card and every position. And also, what I want you to pay attention to while I'm doing this presentation is observing the images and what people do on the picture and how would they want you to act. So I'm going to go and start with number 2. I think can I switch myself on YouTube here on my phone and see if I'm working? Okay, that's how it works. All right. Cool. All right, so number 2. I have to quiet this. All right. So number 2, when maybe I can Can you guys see everything? You can, right? Okay, so number 2, I thought it's an ultimate number of balance, also maybe number 4. And then I thought maybe every number could be a number of balance, but I stick to 2 just because number 2 comes from something original, a 1, an ace, that is trying to break forth beyond its original boundaries. So number 2 will be always having some creative tension within itself. And when we think of 2s, they always speak about oppositions, polarities, duality, me, you, light, dark. They speak about choices, questioning, decisions that we have to make, or our ability to develop, develop our ability to choose. How do we choose? And there's also receptivity. Wait, can I change this? Sorry, guys, I just... Can you hear me, guys? Is everyone there? I hope you can hear me. I'm back. Okay, cool. So let me just go back to this number 2. I'm going to make maybe a bigger image. Screen share, application window. Oh no, now it's gone. Technology and making plans right now. Oh, you look and sound better. That's good. I was just thinking, I don't know, this is one more thought I want to throw in before I go in with the class. Do you guys notice that if we make plans, it doesn't really work very well recently? Like all my plans kind of, I have to be very clear about what I want to put out there, and most of the times I have to be also very detached because it doesn't work very often these days. So I found it just funny, so I thought I'd just throw it in there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to screen sharing and this application window. I hope it's going to work now. There you go. Play. Okay, can you see it? Number 2, perfect quality now. Great, Melanie, thanks. I wanted to call you Lady Alchemil. Okay, so let's bring it back to how we can use this. So we know that 2, duality, choice, mirror, projection, but also receptivity, seeing me in you. There is this double quality in it. So if we bring it back to the normal, let's say we have these 4 cards, 2 of Wands, 2 of Swords, 2 of Cups, and 2 of Coins. How can we use the wisdom which is encoded in tarot? And let's say we ask a question, how can I achieve more balance right now? And it will be different for each of us, right? So let's say we pull 2 of Wands. We see this guy standing in between 2 of Wands, holding onto 1 wand and holding the earth in his hand. He is looking out, right? He has the whole horizon in front of him. He is like waiting for something, or dreaming about something, or checking like on the globe, like where should I go next? So I think when we pull 2 of Wands to create a little bit more balance in our lives, this card can teach us, hey, be open to inspiration right now. Maybe you are too closed, find something that broadens your horizons. Don't bog down, don't close yourself off. Even if you have to be closed in your home, do not feel closed in your mind. Wands speak about inspiration, they speak about like the activity, the movement, something new that wants to be born. They are blossoming ones, in a sense that there are leaves growing on them, so something wants to grow. And if we too kind of sometimes scared, maybe we kind of close ourselves off to all the opportunities. If we pull 2 of Wands like this card can be teaching us, hey, to achieve more balance in your life, to bring in a little bit more harmony, stay open, right? Stay open to inspiration. So what happens if we pull 2 of Swords? And this is a totally different story right now, because we see that there is night, there is the moon, there is this woman in a white dress which sits on the stony throne. She crossed her hands on her chest. She holds 2 swords. Her eyes are blind. She's blinded. Her eyes are, like she has blinds on her eyes. This is some totally different energy that swords are teaching us on how to achieve a little bit more harmony. She is not moving, she is not seeing, she's not looking out for more. The 2 of Swords can be saying to us, stay put, sit down, hold the oppositions, hold whatever is bringing you, discomfort, hold it. Go within. And she doesn't see, like the guy from the 2 of Wands, she's not asked to look outside for inspiration. She is actually asked to sit, maybe even with the uncomfortable feelings that she's feeling. 2 of Swords can be 2 different ideas or 2 opposing forces. She's crossing them, there might be some internal struggle going on. But the advice of the card of 2 of Swords, when you put it and you feel you out of balance, is really about stay put. Hold the opposition, hold the uncomfortable feeling, see what you find inside of yourself. I like her white dress also. It's this kind of this sense of purity, like don't put anything onto yourself, it's just this clarity. You will gain more clarity if you do that. So this is the advice from 2 of Swords. We look at 2 of Cups, which from all the 2s, this is the only card which has 2 people in it. So that's from the beginning, tells us, reflect through the other, relate to another human being, be with others. Maybe also, spend more time with your friends, or spend more time with a loved one. If we don't translate it onto the human relationship, it can also speak about this marriage of opposites within ourselves, our feminine and our masculine aspect of personality. Which one is, how can we equalize them? How can we pay attention to both the feminine and the masculine side? But often it speaks about just relating to others and not projecting our stuff onto them. Pentacles, on the other hand, if you see the guy in the funny hat that looks a little bit like a penis, really, and he's holding the 2 pentacles, he is moving. If you imagine being in any of these people, the guy of Two of Pentacles is the most movable of all of them. So when you draw Two of Pentacles as your personal advice of how to introduce a little bit more balance in your life, you can tell yourself, start moving a little bit to find balance. It speaks, like with the eternity sign, about forever adjusting to finding this balance. It can speak about cause and effect of our actions. It can tell us, try a few different things right now. Try to find the balance through doing things maybe in a different way, or give yourself a permission to try and do stuff a little bit differently. So in this sense, number 2 can teach us of how to achieve this kind of balance through different modes, because we different people, we live in different conditions, we build up differently. Some of us might be like, have a lot of Taurus energy and be really unmovable, like Two of Swords, let's say, and suddenly we draw Two of Wands, and we have to awaken a little bit more of this internal fire. On the other hand, if we very fiery and always on the go, if we pull Two of Cups or Two of Swords, this is something that we might need to, put our will and our our willingness to do and to try out right now to achieve more balance. And so here we have all the cards that you can see. The High Priestess, which is the big 2, and 4 of the 2s. And if you're new to tarot, if you never worked like this, always try to see the minor 2s. How are they reflected in the big 2? So when we look at the High Priestess, she sits between black and white, and she is in the middle of these 2 columns, and she sits in front of the curtain of the veil with pomegranates that suggests some other world, the underworld, the deeper meaning, the deeper knowledge, the hidden knowledge. She is sitting behind this veil, in front of the curtain. She's, there is some secrets or something that we do not know behind her. But the black and white, the Boaz and Joachim columns, they both can be represented through the 2 elements of the suit. So 2 Wands, 2 of Swords, 2 of Cups, and 2 of Pentacles. So always pay attention how you can connect the 2 in the minor arcana to the big 2, to the High Priestess of the majors, and all the other cards like this as well. So let's look at this High Priestess as this kind of ultimate teacher of balance in tarot, as the first card, at least, not the only card. So again, she is like the mythical guardian of the Temple of Solomon. 2 pillars, black and white, Boaz and Joachim or Joachim. She sits in front of them, and she's a guardian and initiator of the mysteries. So let's just put on our fantasy, imagination, mind, and let's just see, what would she be teaching us when we look at her? She sits there. She has these connotations to Isis, to the moon, and she has the cross on her chest. She holds the Torah in her hands. She has the crescent moon at her foot. To me, I don't know, she felt like a conglomerate of all the religions, of all the spiritual knowledge, of all this kind of collective wisdom of all humanity. The moon could be, paganism and old religions, Torah, obviously Judaism, Christianity through the cross, ancient Egyptian, let's say that the columns, and could be Arabic. There is all this kind of mixture of holy wisdom. But the High Priestess, it's not moving, right? Like if we observe what's happening on the card, she's again sitting on the throne, like Isis is sitting on the throne, or like Mary sometimes is sitting on the throne. She is sitting, so she's looking straight at us. And that's what she would be teaching us, I thought, if, when I look at this card. She says, listen and be quiet. Sit, wait, observe. see the signs and oracles. And we see a lot of symbols here, right? The lotus column, the cross, Torah, moon, watery dress, the pomegranates, the veil, the horns. So there's all this beautiful symbolism that's imbued in there. And notice how it feels to just be between two opposing forces and practice the middle way. So she's not really, we don't know, is the cross on her chest showing that she can create a meeting point between the dark and light, the yin and yang, the feminine and the masculine, the hidden and the lit up, the visible? Or is she just knows how to hold the space for both of these options, both of these energies to be present without her, freaking out? I'm just going to ask you if you hear me. And just let me know if you can hear me. Yes, okay. LD says you can guys hear me. Cool. Okay, thank you. I'm on my phone because I can't see you on the computer when I do it. All right, so the next, she can teach us tune into the mystery. And she teaches us to open up to the higher knowledge. And I know that whenever High Priestess comes up in a spread, or if you're serious about tarot, I'm not talking about my daily draw and like what's the energy like, but if you really, sometimes you have these days when you're like, I need advice. If she comes up, you know that you are going through some form of initiation, or you invited to this initiation. And also she teaches us to understand that we do not know everything. And if you think of these huge cycles that the earth goes through these humongous cycles that that we are going through, imagine how tiny little our brains inside get from what's really going on. So we can think now, let's fix coronavirus, because in our little reality understanding, this is what is kind of killing us. But maybe in the big cycle of things, this is not really what we should be doing. We just never know. We do not know. So understanding that there is something behind the veil that we can only see if we actually go through the initiation, through her gate, when we go through High Priestess. So High Spirit Art Store. Okay, so the next slide and the next, again, let's bring this High Priestess to our reality, we not always want to go through huge spiritual initiation. Like, what's happening when High Priestess is imbalanced? What can it actually mean to us? When High Priestess is imbalanced, she can be, or we can be in this case, if she shows up for us, like in reverse position, or if she shows up for us, in certain neighboring cards that can point that she's in the shadow, or if she shows up in the spread in the shadow position, we know that we can be too literal, too intellectual, like too fact driven, like, I don't believe, I need to prove, I need proof, I need proof, I need to understand. She can tell us, hey, you unable to trust your intuition. So verify for yourself, like, how does your intuition communicate with you? We can be constantly asking others for their opinion, never trusting our own judgment. Like, what do you think I should do? And then we can go to a tarot reader. What do you think I should do? And then let's say tarot reader draws cards and tells you what they say. But then you go to another tarot reader. What do you think I can do or I should do? So it's this constant constant lack of self-trust and kind of this connection to your own wisdom. It's also this inability to acknowledge the masculine and feminine aspects of our personality. That's when we maybe get swayed from, you know, the black boas to the white too much, or we too much into the fact visible active, or too much into the spiritual night, you know, kind of inactive way. So sometimes when she's imbalanced, she also can show us that the imbalance in our life, for example, can be that it's difficult for us to live in the real reality from day-to-day world. You know, we can be so spiritual, so focused on our spirituality, but then our bills don't get paid. We have all this stuff that we, you know, cannot deal with. That's also imbalanced spirituality. That's an imbalanced high priestess, because this is also, she teaches also about disconnection from the body. She's fairly covered. She shows the potential of sexuality, and the veil is very kind of body, right, with the pomegranates and going deep into ourselves. But when she's imbalanced, we disconnected often from the body, from the lower chakras, and our reality doesn't reflect our high spiritual evolution. So I hope you guys resonate with what I'm saying here. I know that there's a little bit of delay with the streaming StreamYard, but I hope you guys all hear and you're listening. So now the next slide, I wanted to speak about the balanced high priestess. And here I have this is one of my pictures, my altar with, you know, Diana from Ephesus, with Mary, with Anat, with Mary Magdalene. It's just the kind of high priestess in her many options and forms and facets. So when she's balanced, when she is teaching us maybe how we can be more balanced through her, if we put her as, you know, pull her as a card, she tells us that we gain wisdom. A little bit like the Two of Swords is probably the closest to the high priestess from the twos. We gain wisdom through intuition and inner process. We kind of close our eyes, you know, we hold this tension, we stay, we sit, and we go through inner processes. The Hierophant is like the counterpart of the high priestess, and he, as she's learning through intuition and inner process, he's often learning through others and through tradition, and both ways are really valid. Yeah, Linda, isn't she amazing? The Black Diana of Ephesus. I know, she's so beautiful. I actually painted her face black. She wasn't, you know, I bought her all in one color, but she had hands and face painted black, and the feet. So when High Priestess is balanced, she also shows us that we can make decisions based on intuition and on facts. You know, she sits between black and white, so it's not just one way. Also, she tells us to seek hidden knowledge through dreams, through images, through feelings, through art, through tarot, astrology, any aspect of invisible world. You do it with your Marys, yep. So if we pull High Priestess and we want to introduce more balance in our life, let's try go within and be playful with the image, with feeling, with art, with tarot. Being able to hold the tension between dark and light. Paradox exists, my friends. Good and evil are both part of life and of us. So she also teaches that. Transformation of conscious through balancing mind and spirit, the conscious and the subconscious, experiencing extremes and learning how to unify them within. So that's also an interesting one, because she, through, I think, gaining access to all the wisdom, the collective wisdom, all the religions, all the spiritual mystery schools, we all have access to this through meditation, through doing research, through going through inner processes. One very great part of High Priestess is truly listening to others and to the divine whispers. You know, she's quiet, she enjoys solitude, she enjoys being, and she listens. And also to go through ongoing self-examination, meditation, and going through deliberation before acting. And this beautiful high priestess, which we're going to see on the next slide, comes from Tarot of the Crown by Ellen Lorenzi Prince. And high priestess, if you pull high priestess right now and she kind of, advises you how to create more balance through her, she might be asking you those questions. Are you relying too little or too much on your intuition? How often do you trust your own answers rather than listening to those of others? What masculine and feminine qualities need to be acknowledged right now? How do you absorb information? What is your favorite clair? So High Priestess speaks about intuition, and your favorite clair is, so this speaks about us being able to access intuitive knowing through different channels. Some of us want to just hear messages, but you might not be hearing the intuitive talk, but you are definitely feeling it. Let's say you're kinesthetic, you can feel it in your body warms up, your body gives you some different vibes. Some people smell, some people taste things in their mouths. So think for yourself, like, what is your favorite way of accessing the intuitive information? What is your relationship like with women? She is the sacred feminine, the veiled Sophia, the wisdom. How is your relationship with your inner feminine aspect? And also, how can you embrace your ancient spiritual roots? She usually speaks of some spiritual lineage. Which of the spiritual traditions do you feel mostly drawn to? What, kind of inspires your intuitive senses? So this is what she would ask. And I like to think that, some of these questions you can choose, like, oh, am I relying too much or too little on my intuition? You can pull a card from your deck or from an oracle card and just, make a spread or pull one card or two cards and see how tarot also helps you to maybe discover or go creatively about it. So High Priestess inspiration. What inspiration is she giving us? From dissolution comes awareness. Use bay leaf smoke or oil to increase power of your vision. And bay leaf used to be used by prophecies and Oracle of Delphi and a lot of different ancient oracles. Bay leaf, until now, it's a very magical herb, so you can smoke, like, burn it, as clear it in the air, like a smudge yourself to increase your vision. Believe in the power of the oracles. But if you ask, be prepared to listen and sometimes be prepared to act. You might be asked to, go through initiation, go through different tasks. So are you ready to go there? Believe in your own intuition. You know more than you can explain. And this is a wonderful, these messages come also from Tarot of the Crown. From the Dark Goddess Tarot, from Ellen Lorenzi Prince as well. And I love how she sometimes puts those things really amazingly forth. So you know more than you can explain. And this is a great lesson of High Priestess. We do not know everything. We cannot explain everything. And some things just stay mysterious. And that's why the veil is always there. Learn to read the signs and symbols every day. Again, intuition is like a muscle. You can really practice intuitive readings, intuitive listening, intuitive seeing. The more you see, there's communication happening every day. There's signs around you every day. Even in your home, you can sit in your room and look what draws your attention on this particular day. So this is also practicing. Using cards really makes you fine-tune your seeing as well. And this is also quite an interesting way to think about intuition. It's a God-given or goddess-given gift. We all are intuitive beings, but because of the way we live, it's sometimes, difficult to connect. And it's not about adding something to yourself, but really connecting to what we already have and possess. And also connect to your dreams and practice active imagination and active dreaming. Imagination is such a I would love to be like the connoisseur of imagination. I think imagination can be very, very important, because it doesn't matter if a lot of people are wondering, do I imagine it or is it my intuition talking? It doesn't really matter, because whatever you imagine, whatever you come up with, it is your imagination and it is your intuition talking. If you cannot imagine it, you cannot manifest things. So let yourself play with your imagination, with your active imagination, active dreaming. Imagine things how you would love them to see. High Priestess teaches this as well. And this, to finish that part, is the greatest thing men can experience is the mystery. And that's by Albert Einstein. And that's High Priestess also, mystery. We forgot about mystery. We share everything, it's this part of ourselves that grows stronger when it's not shared, that grows stronger. So the ultimate balance cards, I'm going to finish the presentation here, but then in the class we go through also the justice, temperance, and strength, and also through, as I said, Wheel of Fortune and all the others which I mentioned in the beginning. So just for fun, I founded a Hermit's Cave group, the Toilet Paper Men, which it's really funny these days. But I thought fours can also be a great additional cards of balance. And to get the whole lesson, if you're interested, if you want to learn more about tarot cards, and there's link is going to be in the description box, or you can go to my tarotmap.com website. The balancing tarot class will be $15. It's not going to break anybody's bank, but it's going to help mine though. And you will receive the material in the PDF, an hour-long class with all the cards and this information as well, but it's pre-recorded, so it's not going to be the same as now. The link to the recorded version of the whole class, and also this collective reading for Finding Balance in the Now, which I did for us collectively, and it's recorded and added at the end of the class as well. And I hope you're going to enjoy it, whoever is up for it, and that your tarot knowledge will be expanded, because I go deep into the strength and into justice, into temperance. So thanks guys for watching this. Now I'm going to stop sharing, and I hope you can all still see me. And you're still here, yay. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know that there is a little delay, because I'm saying something and I can see on my phone that it's coming on a little bit later. So thank you for staying with me for the presentation. I think tarot is a map. That's why I called myself Tarot Map, because I think tarot is a map. And when we think of High Priestess, where she, for example, is placed right now, maybe she wasn't there all the time in tarot history, but let's say right now, she comes after Magician, so this original something, and she is before the Empress, before something. So there is this split into two from the original something. So let's say we had a world, and now High Priestess comes in and kind of separates or shows us that there is duality, there is stuff we have to reconcile. And then there is Empress, which brings this creative force, which is the 3, which is the creative number of creation. So whenever we go through this, the solution, the hard times like we're going through right now, there also is going to be the creative, through the breaking of you know, something stable, something creative, and something new is going to come out for us. And I think it's very important to notice also where the temperance card lies. So temperance, which is to me the ultimate, and I want you to, you know, if whoever buys the class, please, and even if you don't buy the class, it doesn't matter, but try to personify the major arcana that show balance. So with temperance, if you stand up and try to do her posture and see how you constantly would be creating this balance and constantly adjusting. Balance is not fixed state. That's why temperance comes after death. So there's death, dissolution, destruction, then we get temperance, rejuvenation, creating more balance after this total, you know, annihilation. But then after temperance comes devil. So if you arrive at the more balanced place in your life and you think, whew, now I'm on holidays, I'm done, thanks, you know, I finally achieved my balance. Spiritual glamour and traps, and you bind yourself to things and you start losing that very gentle flow that temperance is teaching. And I think it's really important to see how the major arcana are placed in the sequence and what, yeah, exactly, very Enrique is totally one of my teachers. So he actually personified, even there are pictures of him personifying this, but I also feel like it's the, you know, the unbalanced high priestess, let's say, the two unbalanced high priestess would be disconnected from the body. And I think we as collective, we also learning how to connect the spirituality to the body. So now with the Chiron, as Linda said here, that the Chiron and Sun Moon conjunction and the big wound, feminine, masculine, needs to be healed. And I feel like this is also about this connection of spirit and body and how we can bring the spirit back to the body and vice versa. The strength card, which I'm talking a lot about the class, in the class about it, that teaches a lot about the body and the spirit. So we have amazing tool in tarot that we can use to even, you know, look at the cards, to inspire ourselves. It's actually, you know, I've been working with tarot for so many years, and when I was preparing this presentation, I took many hours just looking at the cards, thinking like, how do they make me feel? Like, what do I actually think about temperance? How do I understand its position in the, you know, major arcana? Why is devil after it? Like, she should be, she's the angelic being, she's the middle way, she has got it, you know, like, why isn't she at the end? But then we have the world at the end, and the world and the wheel of fortune. Think about this, how you can compare this. I'm talking about it in the class too, because I was just like, wow, look at these two. They really kind of reflective. They teach me about something. So, well, I'm hoping you're going to enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation and this special day, the new moon in Aries with Chiron and Lilith and moon and sun conjoined in Aries. So I think we're going to finish off right now because it's already over an hour. It always goes so quickly, but thank you so much for hanging out, guys, and thanks for listening and learning with me. And I'm going to maybe stay here for another few minutes. If you guys have any questions or if you want to share anything or your own experiences, maybe how do you like kind of connect with your balanced self right now. Maybe we can inspire each other. That'd be lovely to know, but let me just see if anyone has anything to say. I think you guys hear me, but where is this chat? Oh, Jennifer says, thank you. Look forward to the class. Thanks, Jennifer, darling. Thank you for all the sharing, Jennifer. You're being really supportive. LD, thanks Thank you for being a great teacher. Thank you so much. Thank you as well. Very inspiring. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm really glad. I felt myself inspired by the balance, because I'm myself not a very balanced person, I think. You know, when I look at my chart, I'm mostly fire and air, and yeah, and I'm a Sagittarius, which is connected to balance card in tarot, so to temperance and to art card in Thoth system. And I'm always, you know, this is one of my life lessons, striving for that balance. So it's not a subject that it's like, oh, balance, it's so awesome. Like, I myself don't really know very well how to do balance, but I think the older we get, we find our own ways. And I think astrology in this sense can be a really great helper to depict, like, you know, elementally how we create it, like what are our stronger points, what are our weaker points. Then tarot cards can be really great also for showing us different ways of in certain moments on picking up on that balance. So I hope it's you guys are going to use those disciplines right now in these times of adversity to just see what's going on. And I think we're going to learn about strength a lot. We really are. In the times of adversity, this is where we can see what we are made of. And, you know, we really are asked to connect to our inner strength, to our inner resolve, to our inner responsibility, also like justice. So yeah, all these cards of balance are pretty amazing for right now. And Kasia is looking forward to diving in. Yeah, Kasia, I saw you bought the class today. Thank you so much. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I wanted to write you and go, hey, did you like it? But you probably haven't seen it yet. So let me know if you enjoyed it, or better yet, leave a review, please, on the website. You drew a justice card for yourself. Yeah. Inner state was 9 of Swords and the star. Nice. Yeah, and also to look at how the major arcana are positioned. It's really interesting. Linden says that she feels she's balanced moment to moment, never arriving or achieving. Yeah, that's my point. I think balance is never static. You can be in the moment. And also this morning I listened to Eckhart Tolle, just like his special message, and it's the same. If you're in the moment, there is always less fear, because you're not projecting into the future, you're not running out and creating scenarios. Dara, enjoyed it. Thank you. Kasia listened partially while working. Well, Kasia, good that you're working. A lot of us, you know, have to really do things now to work. I mean, I keep working all the time. For me, the situation haven't really changed so much because I always work online, but it changed, of course, because I think people right now are very aware of how they spend money, where they spend money. So yeah, I think a lot of freelancers have to do an extra special amount of work and be of service truly to, you know, to help people right now as well through their work, not just like, oh, I'm so cool and buy my stuff because I look pretty online. So really, I thought that this balanced class will be something that people can actually use and learn more about tarot as well, like just for people obviously who love tarot. All right, Linden, love your work. You appear balanced. I do. I think, you know, the older we get, the easier it gets, but it's definitely one of my big life lessons. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to finish the broadcast. Yeah, I just, Kasia can work from home and still be productive. Yeah, I think we all been quite anxious, and, you know, kind of there is this collective feel, but I think that also calls especially a lot of us who know and have different tools to learn to use them right now. So it's not just this pretty picture on my altar, but I actually can use the wisdom of the oracles, of the cards, of astrology, of my own work that I have done until now to see how I can adjust. And sometimes, as I said, it can be 2 of Swords. Sometimes you can't adjust. Sometimes it's just sit with it, sit with the uncomfortable feelings. And also in the collective tarot reading in the class, Kasia, you will see I speak about, I think, how to deal with it for our collective reading. I pulled Queen of Swords. And that's an interesting image to think of how we can deal with it now, because I think it teaches us also how not to get lost in our thoughts, you know, and how to nurture, nurturing thoughts, how to allow ourselves to also go through difficult experiences. Queen of Swords was traditionally a widow, right? So she is teaching us also how to go through this and how to survive, and what can we learn from this situation right now. So I think not all is lost, guys. The sun will rise again. And Dara says that she keeps pulling strength, Kat. Yeah, and strength is amazing for now, Dara. I think it also teaches very often to go back to the body, or see if there is balance between the thinking head, the spiritual, the out there, and actually how we can ground and how we can use the body, sometimes even about moving more. Yes, thank you. I'm saying thank you for last 10 minutes, but that's it. Thank you, guys. All the best. And yeah, the class it will be linked under the description. But in any case, thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed what I had to offer. Much love. Bye.